A shuffled deck of cards was handed to a man putting on the memory demonstration. He quickly looked through the entire deck for what seemed to be less than 30 seconds and handed the deck back to the other person. He thought for a minute and then proceeded to name each card in the deck in the correct order. Maybe you've seen a similar memory demonstration and you probably have the same reaction that I do. I have trouble remembering someone's name when I meet them. Or sometimes I fail to remember all of the exact details of what my boss instructed me to do at work. Our ability to remember can be a problem for many of us. Learning how to remember better is the solution. What we're learning in these videos is that 1, to listen effectively, we need to focus on actively hearing. And 2, to listen effectively, we need to focus on creating shared meaning to reach real understanding of what we hear. And now, we need to discuss a third behavior relating to becoming an effective listener. We need to understand the process of remembering and how to use the strategies of remembering to make our listening more effective. Have you ever thought about dividing remembering up into 3 separate processes of immediate, short-term, and long-term memory? The separation helps us to understand what is or is not going on in our efforts to remember. Immediate memory is the recipient of all sorts of input. Just like in hearing, we have to select the information we want to remember. It's an active choice. What can affect those choices are the filters we place in the way of the process, consciously or unconsciously. Filters like a previous experience that says this person doesn't really have anything important to say, or a bias filter that halfway screens out people we don't respect as much, or even a filter that says if I'm doing something I think is more important, I might pretend to listen, but my filter stops the memory process in its tracks. The longer we do let the information percolate in our immediate memory, the more likely it will be to enter our short-term memory. This is the place and time where you make the choice to try to apply particular strategies to push it into your long-term memory. To actively begin to push it into long-term memory, you can try things like stopping what you're doing and jotting down a note. Repeat the phrase 2 or 3 times. Write it on your palm. Or try to figure out other ways that you can create logical patterns of the information. The key is that remembering does not just happen. The long-term memory operates differently. It is your data bank, a warehouse, or a place where you remember things because of some specific organized method you use. When my daughter was 5 or 6, we asked her one day about some random thing that had happened in the past. She paused and thought for a minute and replied, "That memory is in a picture frame sitting on the dresser in the attic." Our first thought was that she was crazy, but she explained that she kept all of her memories in a house and that one was in the attic on the dresser. She referred to this house for several years, and the memories were always in the same place. What she was doing was using a visual picture of a place and inserting memories into the picture. This is just using an organized method of remembering. You might put thoughts into categories or associate them in some way together. I've remembered phone numbers by picturing an old-fashioned Rolodex. All right, here's the final exam question to remember. What is the difference between the three memory processes? Immediate, short-term, and long-term memory. So what have we said about the process of remembering and how it impacts effective listening? You might be hearing and even understanding the meanings of your partner, friend, or coworker. But if you're placing filters of past experiences, bias, or a lack of respect in the way of the listening process, the information is not going to be remembered. The second thing we're saying is that short-term memory is just that, short-term. Unless we work to push it out into our long-term memory, where we can organize it into categories, patterns, or visual memories, we're not going to remember. Put simply, remembering is a choice we make along the pathway to becoming effective listeners. See you in the next video.